at some point it's too epic, so you're overwhelmed. So this is like you can't watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy all the time. At some point you also have to watch Wasteworld.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time in the channel, hit subscribe right now.
Vince, thank you so much for your time today. The second full-length album of Knife is coming, well, as we're talking, less than 2 weeks, so it's getting close. That's awesome. Before we go into that, let's just look back real quick, because you just finished a run of festivals, which ended at the muddy fields of Wacken, an edition that people will talk about for many, many years for a lot of different reasons. How was it for you guys, though, to play there?
We were a little concerned before we went there because, well, the people were told that they have no allowance to enter the festival side, and we thought, oh, well, we're a small band. Of course, they will not cancel the Maiden or the Heaven Shall Burn show. But so let's get in touch with them. So we called them, and they said, okay, for the bands, everything is fine. And I think they organized everything really well because when we came there, of course, there was a little tricky with the parking situation.
Right. Yes.
But
I've seen the photos.
We were treated well. Everything was fine. The backstage area was fine, and I think because of the muddy situation, we weren't that overwhelmed. I think we would have been more overwhelmed if we had the full experience. Of course, everyone was busy. We had some interviews there. We had to find out where the stages are. Everything took by far longer because to some stages it was tricky to walk because of the muddy fields. But all in all, it was a great experience. The first time I went to Wacken was in 2000. Mm-hmm. It was the first time I saw Venom live, and now 23 years later, we had the chance to play there. So this was really amazing. It was great. And when we started playing, the sun came up, so everything was great. The people were amazing. We had a really, really great crowd. So it was an amazing experience. But we had to leave the next day, so we couldn't enjoy the whole festival.
Right. You know, it is busy. You get to play all these great festivals. There's a lot happening for you guys. Do you have the time to take a step back and realize how fucking fast things are going all of a sudden? Because let's be real, most bands, when they have 2 albums out or almost second album out and just exist for a couple of years, they're playing bars, not Wacken.
Yes.
So are you able to really take that in and appreciate what situation you're in?
Yes, of course, but it took a while. So of course, the main reason we had to leave was that we all had to get back to work. So there was no time to think about this. We used the weekend, and when we finally realized that we played the Wacken show with all these great bands, well, when I sat there backstage, I saw Joey Belladonna, Anthrax passing by, and at the weekend I sat at home and holy shit, this was amazing. 3 years after we started the band, more or less. And now we played Wacken. We have played other shows before that were really great, but it was an outstanding experience. And I think you could have, if you saw us in the car, everyone was smiling already. But I think after a few days it became even more. So really, really great. But we're really thankful that we get the chance to play there, to play for such an amazing audience, and it was good. It was just great.
All right, let's focus on obviously the album that's coming our way. The album kicks off with a really cool song, Hawks of Hades. At the very beginning, there's a bit of backwards intro there. I've not had a chance to play that song in the wrong way, so I haven't figured out what's being said there in the beginning. Do you mind lifting the curtain a little bit, or does it have to stay a secret?
Well, of course I can tell you. It's part of the. You find the same passage on the record again.
Okay.
And I think this of course, when you play in a band that is slightly referenced to or referring to black metal, of course, the backward messages are a very nice tool. So we thought it is good because it sets the tone, it creates an atmosphere, it sounds dark, gloomy, and evil. And the message is the backwards message of a passage of the Bible. And of course, many tracks on the album deal with church or with biblical references. So we thought this fits quite well. And the second part, of course, this is the one that is easy to understand. Of course, also foreshadows a little bit what the people can expect when listening to the album. Yes, and then Hawks of Hades kicks off because we thought we need to start with the fast song again.
Yeah.
Use the fast one on the first album. So we had this we want to create a certain atmosphere this time. We didn't want to start full speed the way we did before. I think it sets the tone perfectly, and then Hawks of Hades kicks in, and I think it's a very nice start to start or to kick off a thrash or black speed or whatever you might call it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people can discuss forever and ever whether you guys are a blackened speed band, a death thrash, or no, maybe not death thrash, but speed thrash or whatever. And you know, it's rock and roll metal. It's cool, and it is actually quite diverse. And this is interesting because on the album we hear influences from everywhere, and you know, obviously from first generation black metal bands and thrash bands and so on, but there's punk in there. There's even, I mean, I'm gonna say that Iron Scepter for me has a hardcore bass line and some hardcore guitar riffing as well, and then all of a sudden halfway through the song it turns into a Thin Lizzy-ish guitar solo and breakdown, you know, which is cool to see. One of my favorite songs on the album, I think, is Torches They March. All of a sudden we get Accept, a little bit of Maiden as well, and Realm of Violence, Maiden comes back. Like there's a lot going on in different areas, and I wanted to ask you, because with so like blackened thrash or blackened speed metal, it seems to be on the rise again. And with a lot of those bands, it's okay, first note is at 2 million miles per hour and it doesn't slow down, and it's all fun and great, but it's a lot of the same. With you guys, for the genre, this is an extremely diverse album. Is that something that just comes naturally, or are you guys like thinking about, okay, well, we want to set a tone, we want to not be too, we don't want to be too stereotypical, we want to show different sides. Like, as you're writing the album, like, what's the mentality then?
Basically, so we usually start with the guitar work. This is the first thing, and I think because we labeled the band as a black speed metal band, so we have black speed metal punk band. So there are so many ways we can write a song. So we can write a song that is a black metal song, more or less. We can write the speed metal song, including all the heavy metal elements.
Yeah.
The punk is obviously always there because this is one of the main ingredients.
Yeah.
But the first wave of black metal also had these punkish elements, and thrash metal 100%. As well.
Yeah.
And when Les comes up with an idea, so he's of course he's influenced by the things he's listening to, but it just comes out naturally. So if he has a song like with Torches They March, for example, I'm quite sure that he didn't really think of Accept, and when he started playing the intro part, I immediately thought, wow, that sounds like Accept, but it wasn't his intention. He just wrote the song.
Right.
And then we work on, so if the song kicks ass, we take it, and later we see if it fits on the record. But we think this time, of course, there's this diversity with this really fast songs like Hawks or the title track. They are the Thrashers.
Yeah.
But as you said before, it would be boring if we all took the same style of Venom, this primitive caveman speed thrash, because Maiden and Thin Lizzy are among the greatest bands.
Absolutely.
So of course we are influenced by them. So we have listened to them before the recording process, and of course we still listen to them every time now and then. So we just use all the ingredients, and then the outcome is what you can hear on the record. And if we have a song that does not really fit, we had this on the first record, the Sacrifice, and then we released the Sons of Sacrifice EP because we thought the song is really strong, but it does not really fit into on the record. So we use it if it still kicks ass after a few months. We use it in a different context.
Yeah.
I think there are no real limits to our sound. So we just want to make a diverse, hard, fast, evil, heavy metal record.
There's this market for nostalgia in metal. There's festivals in Germany, Keep It True. Here in North America, Hell's Heroes and Stormbringer Festival, and all these kind of great places. And there's great bands playing in these shows, but we often see that they are stuck in that world as well. And there's the bands that are labeled as like, oh, they're an epic heavy metal band, or they're a new wave of traditional heavy metal band, and they don't seem to break out of that world and play the Wackens and play the Grasspops and go on tour and what have you. Is that something that you feel like the power of Napalm is helping you with as well? That you're with a team that just thinks globally to begin with?
Yes, I think this is really, really helpful for us. But well, as I said before, we have these punk influences. So for us, it's possible to play a festival like the Stormcrusher Festival, for example, in Germany, where we played with Pagan Altar and Demolition Hammer, for example.
Right.
But also the Pit Fest with Terror and the Dwarves, so with all these punk bands. And I think Napalm helps us, but also the kind of sound that we play, because it's quite open. So people who usually listen to the underground stuff like Medieval Steel, for example, or Broker's Helm, could also enjoy our records. And people who listen to, I don't know, The Exploited, for example, could also enjoy our sound. And because we do not limit ourselves, so we do not want to be a part of an elite that only plays the underground.
Yeah.
To claim that we are an underground band. I think to be true in the sense is, if you just make the music that you want to play, and the more people like your music, the better it is for us, of course. And Napalm is really, really supportive in this case. But they really help us to spread the word.
Yeah.
And we'll see how far this might go. As long as the people are interested, of course, we will continue. Of course, it's no problem for us to play small underground shows and to play the Wacken Open Air. We enjoy both equally. It's as long as the people are into the music, everything is perfectly fine.
Yeah. And when you talk about playing with the Brokas Helms of this world or the Exploiteds of this world, do you also see do you see that different crowd reacting different to your music? Would you cater set lists in a different way? Like if you play a punk festival or Keep It True, you might have a very different audience in front of you. Are you going to go, or would you change your set list to like a little bit more fast bangers for the punk crowd and a little bit more, fist pumping battlefield anthems for the Keep It True festival? Like how does that go for you?
Yeah, I think when it depends. Of course, we can adjust the set list a little bit, but we usually play the songs that we want to play, that we think are the strongest. And I think if we take the first record, a song like I Am the Breeze, which I think is really fast punky with a punkish attitude, of course, also some thrash elements. But I think this would also work on the Keep It True festival.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are also some open-minded people in this tiny scene, more or less, that appreciate that this is something different, because you can't listen to epic metal all the time. At some point, it's too epic, so you're overwhelmed. So this is like, you can't watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy all the time. At some point, you also have to watch Wasteworld.
Now, I mean, in any kind of metal, imagery is important. I mean, you talked about like, hey, you should have seen us on the car back from Wacken, and you all big smiles on our face and what have you. But you have to be that tough Blackened speed band as well at the same time, and have cool artwork. We see the angrier little brother of the Manowar's Immortal Warrior on your artwork a lot. So, I mean, now that we've seen him return, we know this was not a one-off. This is your mascot. So, tell me the story behind him. Does he have a name?
Well, we are currently discussing a name, because we have been asked several times before. It's still the Slasher Dude. We just call him the Slasher Dude because, well, he is a Slasher Dude. But you're right. It could be the little brother of the Manowar. Does the Manowar guy have a name? I'm not sure about this.
I think he is the Immortal Warrior, but I could be wrong.
It's the Mortal Warrior, so the brother who likes to listen to punk rock and drink beer, but wearing clothes instead of not wearing clothes. Well, the story is quite simple. So when we started with the first tape, so when 3 years ago, 4 years ago basically, when we came up with the whole with the new band, we prepared the first record, and we chose a photograph for the artwork of the Black Leatherhounds tape. And this is just the red sky and the silhouette of a person. So this is basically me holding up a knife.
Yeah,
We just used the silhouette. And then we thought, okay, this is the first thing that people see. So they get an idea. Of course, the band is called Knife. We have this imagery of the slasher dude. And then we thought, okay, now we need more details, and we wanted a cover artwork in the tradition of the 80s artworks, like the Manowar records and the Maiden records, or the Andreas Marshall records, Blind Guardian, Running Wild.
Yeah.
The painted stuff, not the Photoshop stuff. And yeah, this is how how the first cover artwork. So I'm referring to this because it's somewhere in the back. This is how the first artwork came up, and then we thought, okay, this looks great. The style of Timbul, who is the artist, it really fits. The artwork looks like the sound that you can expect. The artwork, okay, this band sounds more or less like this. And of course, we thought he needs to return, and like we include all the different influences and references to the music we listen to. Of course, we put this in the artworks as well. So you mentioned the Manowar reference on the first artwork. Of course, there is Maiden in it. We have this small black cat hidden somewhere. This comes back all the time. So, and the first one obviously influenced by Merciful Fate.
Of course.
So, but we like to play. We do not want to reinvent anything. We just take everything that we like and try to make our own stuff out of it. And this is basically what the Knife is about.
Now, I mean, there's we mentioned earlier, there's a bit of a resurgence in this style, and you guys shared the stage at festivals with Belgian band Butcher as well, which I'm sure are becoming friends, and Skeleton Wolf is out there, and there's a bunch of stuff happening. Obviously, we saw this Blackened speed, Blackened thrash in the 90s, early 2000s with Au Noir kind of start happening, Nocturnal and Niflheim and all that kind of good stuff. There seems to be a bit of a wave coming and a true scene. Are you guys is there a scene? Like, are you guys in touch, and do you know other bands in the European Blackened speed scene that you would consider good friends and stuff like that, or is it still a little bit more sporadic over Europe?
Yeah, so we met Butcher several times before, so they played the Wacken show after us. So they were the band after us. So, and we have played with them before. So every time we meet, it's great. But they are from Belgium. The other guys, we met the people, the guys in Riot City several times.
Mm-hmm.
And every time we meet, it's great. We enjoy some beers and have a chat. But the scene that we're more or less part of here, where I live, or where we live, this is a quite diverse scene. So we have some black metal bands, also true black metal bands, but also some hardcore bands and rock and roll bands. Also metal bands like Blizzard. They are so the Blizzard guitarist. I think his house is about 800 meters or a kilometer from mine. So I think this is rather the scene that we are in, just because it's the local scene. But every time we go on bigger festivals, we meet, and every time we have a great time. We met the Evil Invaders in the Czech Republic. This was also great. We had great fun, so we went to the bar later, and so this is great. And I think that this scene is continue for so long is the reason that it's so that the people are more open-minded than they were before.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the reason why like Butcher could also play a festival like the Pit Fest where punk bands play, because they have the same attitude. Even though you could wear your Venom or your Motorhead or Manowar shirt and enter a stage at a Pit Fest, and you still see people doing fist banging mania.
Yeah.
And I think this is why it lasts so long, because it does not really get boring, because all these bands share the same influences and the same scene, so to speak, but they all sound differently. So this makes it interesting.
Yeah. Now you mentioned, people seem to be a little bit more open-minded, and you mentioned wearing T-shirts. You're wearing a T-shirt of Witch Hazel, which is a fantastic band. But from a theme perspective, also musically, couldn't be further away from what you guys bring. Slightly different lyrics, but cool nonetheless. Is there? I would still categorize which is as a retro-inspired heavy metal band, but I love that band. But is there a band in your collection that people would be truly surprised to go like, oh, Vince is also listening to this? Is there something that you would that would really surprise people?
Well, I'm quite sure there are several records. So I really like Cypress Hill, for example. Especially the older stuff. So I have six records, I think. So the first 6. But I also like I like to listen to bands like Madness, for example.
Our house in the middle of our street. Our house in the middle.
I mostly listen to heavy metal bands or the whole spectrum. So from Hazel to Demo Borgir, for example, or a section to Fizzy Top. But of course, I also like to listen to other bands like the Interrupters. I like ska music for I don't know why, but especially
because it's fun. Because it's fun. It would be so much fun that if you guys are playing a set that halfway through one of your Thrasher songs, you just go into a little ska groove, just to kind of confuse people. But you know, in the interest of time, because time's running out, and I want to be respectful. Obviously, the album's coming out, but there's also more shows coming. You guys are gonna play some really exciting shows with Sodom later this year. So to wrap us up, everybody watching this video, what can we expect that is coming our way with Knife this year and next?
So we have, as you mentioned, we only play great shows. So we play some underground festivals with bands like The Night Eternal. It's going to be great. We play several shows with Asphyx, Legion of the Damned.
Mm-hmm.
And also get in the Sodom tour with Soulburn and Ima Tarikat will also be part of this tour. And yes, of course, we are going to play some of the new songs. We still have to rehearse them, but we are going to play them. and yes, of course, we are going to deliver the high energy show. We try to showcase what the music sounds like, so we want to transfer all this energy on the stage, and we hopefully will succeed in doing so. But I think especially the tour with Sodom will be great because it's a tour with Sodom. So what can go wrong? Basically, it will be. I'm quite sure that we have some stories to tell after the tour is over.
Vince, thank you so much for your time this Monday afternoon for you. I really appreciate that. The album's coming out end of August, and it's so much fun. I'm really happy that I had a chance to listen to the whole album already. And I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun listening to the album, coming to your shows, and going crazy in the mosh pit. And maybe a ska tune or some hip hop in there as well. Who knows? You might surprise us.
Who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Awesome.
Who knows? This is still punk rock. If you play something people do not expect.
There you go. The definition of black metal, doing what you want to do, right?
Yes.
There you go.
Exactly.
Awesome. Vince, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for the interview.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.